Hello survivors and welcome to another video, and in this video we're going to be looking at a new event that started, which is the Aquamarine necklace collections. Now this was talked about on the forums last night as the War Awards this weekend were announced. It did have Aquamarine necklaces as part of the milestones, so of course people got talking about that. And basically it's a new event which was revealed on the forums, but I do like to see it in game. It's nice to see it like the full thing, you know. You like to see the actual thing. And it is museum collection, exactly like we have seen in the past with the nugget collections. However, this time, as you can see, the gear is split up into basically into individual pieces of gear. Now we'll check back on one of the previous events, which I think would be this one. No, that's not that one. Where am I? I'm lost. This one? There we go. So before it would be a crate and you claim the crate and you have 1 in 24 chance. You have 24 claims, I think it was, but you have a 1 in 4 chance to get the piece of gear that you want. So you could just get unlucky. Let's say you claimed 10 and you wanted 2 hockey masks. You could get 1 or none. You know, the chances of that happening aren't actually that low in terms of 1 in 4. And the amount of claims you could do were not that high. Whereas now, you've got a guarantee to get whatever you want. So there shouldn't be too much complaints in terms of that. I think it's actually a really nice change. I think this is something that they should hopefully keep up. They did do it in the last event, which was the Hilltop collection, the Hilltop Eggs collection, Egg Hunt. And they had they had hockey masks, they had the holsters, the bandoliers, and the whetstones, all separate selections, which was really nice to see. So it's really great that they've continued it into this one. But the five-star ascendable is for the first time an alert character in an event since Ascendance was brought out, and it has been a very long time. So it's a guaranteed alert character as long as you get enough of the get enough of the medals or the necklaces, should I say. I will probably call them medals by mistake, but as long as you get enough of the necklaces, you can get your hands on Lucas. Now, a lot of people probably have their hands on Lucas already because he has been part of Wills in other events before, but that was kind of a lottery. So if you have Lucas already, I think your mind should be made up in terms of go for gear because you've already got the character. If you're someone who buys premier characters on a regular basis, I don't think Lucas is like super powerful compared to a lot of premier characters, you know, like Erica and stuff like this. So again, your mind should be fairly made up. However, if you're someone who's free to play and hasn't had luck on the wheels in terms of getting Lucas, if you have ranged characters, if you run ranged characters, he could be useful for you, particularly if you have alert characters. If you have 1 or 2 Mirabelles already and a governor, this guy could be pretty nice. If you've got Laurie that potentially is on the way, you know, if you've already got her from the Ascendance Tower, this guy could be pretty nice. Now the 6-star has got a leader skill, which is all alert teammates get 40% defense and a huge bonus to AP when attacking. Now, anyone that has a huge bonus to AP when attacking and a 40% stat is really nice. It is only alert characters, so if you had this as a leader on defense, it would be kind of readable. His active skill is Recover Confused, so he'll be able to heal your guys up if they get confused by, say, someone like Shiva or anyone else who has confused. This recent Michonne, for instance. Confuse isn't really that widespread just yet, but it could be. I don't think Recovering Fuse is like a spectacular active skill, but I don't really think that too many of the active skills are too spectacular. So this is one of the better ones, but it's still not great. I think if it was Recover Stun, instantly it's much better. Stun's much more prominent in terms of it's on weapons, it's on a lot of even some active skills, and it's on rushes as well. Now we move across to his Adrenaline Rush. 300% damage to 1 enemy. I do like that it's a 1 enemy hit. I do prefer like 1 enemy getting attacked. It's much more useful on defense as a 1 enemy. It isn't that high damage. Obviously if he gets buffed up in terms of someone has extra damage buff, like you've got Dwight or something like this, you'll get extra 50% damage, but I don't think it's spectacular in terms of damage. He is a support character, so he's not meant to be a damage character. He does a 1-turn 3-person impair, the character that gets attacked and 2 others. So it's just it's also exactly the same as the governor, but it's just 1 turn instead of 2, and up to 1 teammate gets 40% AP, which kind of falls in line with his role, which is a support character. Now, if you had him and Sadiq in the same team, you'd be having AP getting popped off everywhere with their rushes, which is kind of nice. You'd have rushes going off quicker, which is quite useful in a 6-star world because rushes are quite slow. His rush is 66 AP, which is actually pretty decent in terms of how useful he's going to be in the long term. I think if he was 76, I would say it would be a more, you should be more inclined to avoid him, but because he's 66, it's going to be just more useful in terms of his rush. Now, if you run a melee region, I'd say maybe he isn't useful for you. It can maybe be a good idea to keep your options open, because you never know. Let's say they introduce a wheel in 6 months and you pull a really nice range character as a leader and you wish you had good reds behind this character, and Lucas could have been one of those reds. I mean, they don't hand out these characters guaranteed too often. I think this is only the 6th or 7th in terms of Vincent, Wyatt, Dwight, Ezekiel, Rick, Maggie, and this would be the 7th, I believe, unless I missed someone out. And the majority of those have been melee. So range characters are rare. I guess this is only the 3rd Nugget event, so here's me predicting that the next Nugget event is a tough character. Let's see, we'll see. But I kind of like Lucas. He's not spectacular, but it's nice to just have a variety of characters, because some people, like I say, do run reds or hoped to run reds, and they have now got an opportunity to get a 6-star or a 5-star ascendable to 6-star character who is a red character, so that's not too bad. Now, if you're not really down with the character that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. Because you can select gear, and I think the gear is actually pretty nicely costed out. And you can select exactly what you want, so there's less of a lottery there, which is spectacular. So in terms of what I'm going to do, I do run a ranged region, and on that region I'm definitely going to get Lucas, just because I just want a character. We haven't had too many ranged characters given out to free-to-play, and I will definitely be taking Lucas because of that. I've got a lot of Benedicts, and I've got a lot of Liliths and Aidens that I'm going to be happy to use. I might even up his active skill just to get rid of a lot of these Ulysses that we've been given in the last couple of weeks. And in terms of my melee region, I'm probably going to go for gear. I'm going to maybe go for items that I can tier for some of my strong characters, maybe Cal, someone like that, maybe Glenn, characters that I can see being on my team for quite a long time. I'd say tier 4ing your damage dealer, your main damage dealer, is a good idea, and past that, maybe if you had a leader that you could see being on your team for a long time, or support character that you could see being on your team for a very long time. I think tanky characters like Wyatt, I don't know if they're very worth tier 4ing as much. Certain support characters maybe not as much. Like, I think Ezekiel, Fast Ezekiel is a good character, but I've seen a lot of people tier 4 him. But I think he's quite replaceable, because the main reason he's in your team is Guardian 2. The second another Guardian 2 character comes out that has like a better rush and a better active, or like a more useful for you, that's why I think Cal's pretty good for me, because he has Taunt Rush, Taunt Active, G2 on his specialist skill, and obviously I have a stun weapon as well, so he's like got 4 things that make him very useful for me. So if you've got characters like that, I'd concentrate on those guys to get them up. If you've got Rick from the previous event and you want to tier 4 him, he'll do spectacular amounts of damage as a tier 4. Let's have a little look at that. He'll be hitting big numbers with tier 4 because he has over 2,000 damage, whereas a maxed out tier 3, I think he has like 1,870 or something like that. So I mean, he will be getting an extra, 700, 800 damage on his rush. So it would be pretty nice. You've got choice. You don't obviously have to go for a particular person either. You could just go for, let's say you want to just get extra canteen and GPS just so you've got options in the future. That's not a bad idea either. And I think the fact that you can say, let's say you've got only 2 canteens, you can claim yourself 3 GPS and 1 canteen, and then you've got the amount that you need to tier 4 3 people. So that's actually pretty useful. But I like I said, I kind of like this event. I like the selection. I hope that there are going to be other things running in the same time, because this is 59 days. It's a very long one. In terms of how we're going to be getting the rewards, it does look like it's going to be pretty much milestone only at the moment. As you can see, I don't mind it going up to the top milestone, as long as it's going to be in a lot of events. I did read on the forums that it could potentially just be weekend events. We'll have to wait and see. It is part of this Wars this weekend's war milestones as well, up to the top milestone. So already, if you've got all of these, you're going to be getting, what's that, 1,000, 3,000. You're going to be getting about 4,500 here. Actually, it's just over 5,000. So with 5,000, you can get from the museum, you can get a GPS and a canteen if that's what you need. You could get 2 pieces of gear to get a character up. So if you get 2 million points, it isn't so straightforward to get 2 million points, but at least you're going to be able to claim things almost straight away. I would say though, if you're unsure, just be patient. There's no rush. You've got 59 days. You could give it 2 weeks at least just to think about how many tokens you're getting, how many necklaces you're getting, should I say, and what sort of gear you want. I would try and avoid gear like the watches and the hand crank radios, and the other gear like the sheaths and basically that sort of tier. You know, the target dummies, the gloves and the tripods. Just because those pieces of gear are a bit easier to come by, and I'd only take those if you're like on the last day of the event. You're not going to get any more necklaces, and you've got 800 necklaces left. You know, that's the only time I'd really go for those. These upper tier pieces are much harder to come by. So, and now that you can select exactly what you want, I mean, the only reason you'd want to go for this lower tier gear is because you've got a character and you need like 3 or 4. Maybe that's the only reason you should go for these ones. And you need you need 3 or 4 pieces to upgrade them. But that's the end of this video, guys. Do tell me what you think. What do you think about this event? What you're going to be going for? You're going to be going for explicitly a certain piece of gear? You're going to be aiming to get the assemble recruits? You know, what are your aims? Are you aiming to tier for a particular character? I would like to hear what you guys are planning to do. But this is the end of the video, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. And as always, keep on surviving. Keep on surviving.